Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor, back with another action-packed session. Today, we're going to be talking about virtual assistants and how to scale your real estate operation with VAs. Extremely important to learn this information, so make sure you stick around to the end of the session so that you can get the most value. If you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe. Leave a comment that says, I subscribe. For everyone who leaves that comment, I'm going to send you instant access to my free real estate training. It'll show you how to acquire properties for pennies on the dollar all across the country. You don't want to miss out on that free offer. So make sure you guys stick around, man. We're gonna cover a lot in this session. There's almost too much information to cover. We may have to break this up into a couple sessions. And for my boots on the ground people, my people who are in the Philly market investing, I have an exciting update. So make sure you definitely stick around for that. We have some good news that just came through today that I'll share with you guys, and maybe other investors across the country it may be valuable for as well. Let's tap into the mindset, guys. If you have any questions, comments, just drop them in the chat section. If you want to tap into some of our free real estate trainings, click the links in the description and you'll get dialed right in. So let's get into the mindset. Mindset is, there's a couple, because I have a part 2 to this, but part 1 is you're only as strong as your team. And it's part of the reason why we're talking about virtual assistants. But I tell you guys all the time, real estate ownership is a solo sport. So owning properties is something that you want to do solo. I know a lot of you are just getting started. You're thinking about real estate and you're a little nervous. You haven't done a deal before. And when you're in that position, the initial thought is, well, let me go out and partner with somebody. I'm going to go partner. Even if this person doesn't know much more than you, they may pretend to know more than you, but most people don't. And you just think it's going to be safer. You have somebody else to help you think through problems. You're going to be better off. So you go and get in a partnership, or maybe they have capital and you want to raise some money. And those partnerships can really distract you. I'll say is the best way to put it. They can distract you long term. It definitely takes a lot of your profits. So if you're thinking about mentorship versus partnership, mentorship is always the way to go, because it will eat into your profits. But because of that reason, it's a solo sport, man. You want to own these properties alone. You don't want to get into ownership as some type of a team sport. But executing on real estate, doing deals, managing projects, dealing with full gut renovations, investing in town, out of town. If you're in a place like California, you're trying to invest in Cleveland because you know the properties are cheaper in Ohio. Doing all of those different things, it's better to have a team behind you, because you will only be as strong as your team. And what do I mean by that? Let's say, and I had this exact scenario happen when I was just getting started. Like, a lot of people ask me, how did you get, 300 deals done? How did you do 200 deals, 300 deals? What was that journey like? How did you get to that level? And I did not get there by myself. I actually, when I was starting, there were many people who had started before me and had many more deals than me at the time. Maybe I had 2 or 3 deals, and there were people who had 30, 40 deals. And I ended up what I would call leapfrogging them in development. So 2-3 years go by and I'm crossing over my first 100 deals. And that person who had 20 now has 30. Like, they've accelerated, but not exponentially. And the reason why is because they were of the mindset that they're going to do everything themselves. They're going to go slow. They're going to do everything themselves. They're going to maybe stand in the property, try to fix everything themselves. And they thought that learning the real estate game was like learning how to fix everything with their own hands. They figured, if I can fix everything with my own hands, now I'm in a position where I can save the most money. But when you're doing that and thinking like that, you're not factoring in the time value of your energy. Your energy, like, the one thing that we all share on the planet is we all have 24 hours in a day. Most people are sleeping for close to a third of that, 25% to a third of that. Then some of us are still working a 9 to 5. Some of us are investing in real estate part-time. So that leaves you with, if you got family, kids, you got other obligations, that might leave you with an hour a day that you could dedicate, but then you have to truly carve out the time to not do other things during that hour. So it's putting you in this position. Just gotta move my phone around. It's putting you in a position where you're not getting a lot of leverage out of yourself, because you're not respecting your own time. Even if you went to physically do everything in that property, could you outcompete my team is the question that you should be asking yourself. Can I outcompete Brian's team? And what does Brian's team look like? Well, my team might have 40 virtual assistants at a given time, 40 people pounding the phones, managing rehabs, doing deal analysis, getting out offers, coordinating with contractors, coordinating with realtors, coordinating with lenders, sourcing materials, dealing with architects and engineers and permit expediters and Section 8 inspections and tenants. So my team, even if I'm on vacation, even if I'm out at the park, you guys know I work out like all the time. Even if I'm working out, I'm training my team to a level where my team can outcompete you. It can always outcompete you. Some of you guys saw my video on like Michael Jordan and kind of like real estate, and how you have to have team leaders, boots on the ground people who are managing some of your subcontractors and kind of running the show. And you need that. You need these different levels of support. You need these different people and these different systems in place to actually outcompete. But if you take Michael Jordan, let's say Michael Jordan is playing one-on-one versus somebody, he's probably going to beat him in his peak. Now, he can't really beat any NBA team 1 against 5. Even the best player, they say the GOAT, the greatest of all time, 1 versus 5 cannot beat any other NBA team. Any other team probably couldn't beat, realistically, a high school team 1-on-5. So the size of your team and the strength of your team is going to give you the advantage. We always talk here about advantages, because if you can become 1% better than the average investor, you can outcompete them and win the best deals on the market. When you start to add size to your team and you start to understand the next wrinkle of this, which is you're not just a real estate investor. This is a shock to a lot of people. You're not just a real estate investor. You're a startup company. You are a startup. So as a startup, you are a CEO of a startup real estate development company. And as that CEO, you need talent. You need resources. You need systems. You need technology. If you're in the 100 Keys Masterclass, I'm breaking down literally for you in that masterclass, in that course content, all of the systems, all of the strategies, all of the techniques, all of the different team players that you need to outcompete the competition. That's what the 100 Keys Masterclass is all about. It's the know-how, the general, go here, do this, talk to these people, how to get your first deal. Of course, for those who are just looking to get that first deal done. Certainly me working with you one-on-one to hold your hand through those deals, but then the systems behind it. So when you have these different mindset shifts, I'm only as strong as my team. I'm not just a real estate investor. I'm a startup company. You start to view yourself that way. You have a mission statement. Who are you impacting with your real estate development? Why are you building? Where are you building? What is your mission statement? What's your elevator pitch, your 30-second pitch on what you do and what's your why? What's your motivation? When you start to think about these things, they become really important, because when you go to recruit a virtual assistant and bring in talent, they're going to ask you these questions. We'll get into VAs as we go through, but they're going to ask you these questions. And this is going to determine your ability to get good talent, your answer to that. If a virtual assistant asks you, okay, I want to work for an American company, what makes you different? What's your mission? What's our mission, essentially, as a company? And you're just like, I don't know, I'm just out here freelancing trying to make $1. That's not necessarily going to attract and retain the best talent. But when you're like, hey, we're moving and shaking, we're scaling this thing, we're doing, affordable housing, we're rebuilding communities, and not just saying that, but being that person, that's very attractive, and it's going to allow you to get some of the best talent. So guys, make sure you have these mindset shifts and hacks in mind, and take advantage of these mindset shifts. They may sound small, but trust me, they are very powerful and they're multifaceted. And you need to do this type of mental work in order to outcompete all of the competition that's out there. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat section. I will answer the questions as we go through the content that we have for you today. If you're new, like, comment, subscribe. Let's definitely get these likes up a little bit, guys. And share the content with somebody who you think will get value. This is, by the way, one of my best kept secrets. It's not a secret because It's all over my mentorship program. But it is one of my best real estate hacks. When I got virtual assistants, that was really the difference maker between doing four deals a year, 2, 3, 4 deals a year, to doing 40 a year or more, right? That is the difference. It's truly just virtual assistants, knowing how to train them, where to find them, how much they cost, when you should get them, like when to get your first VA, which is the next question. Let me jump into a quick question, and then I'll get back into this. This is slightly off topic, but all real estate questions are welcome. So you don't have to be like on the VA tip. Would you suggest wholesaling versus investing? And then the second caveat of that is, which one pays quicker? It kind of depends, because look, there are deals that you could do a burst strategy on, or you could do a cash out refinance on, and you could get it done in 60 days, like in and out. The thing that you have to understand about investing is there are no hurdles with that. What I mean by that is not that there aren't like hurdles where you have to go qualify with the lender and get the money and get the contractors. There are different things that you need. But let's say that you're starting off, let's say you join mentorship, you got in the mentorship program, you have a decent credit score, you have some capital saved, and you're like, I just want to invest and get a return. We could identify a deal where you can buy it, quickly renovate it in 30 days, put some tenants in there, generate some really good cash flow. And making that money is not difficult. Like, you're not really going to run into an obstacle between a cosmetic renovation and then putting a tenant in place and collecting some cash flow. So getting to that money, I will say, will feel a lot more guaranteed, because it's truly just X's and O's. Here are the numbers. Here's how to make the money. With wholesaling, you have to get in front of motivated sellers. You have to actually invest a little bit into that operation to get in front of enough motivated sellers to get a deal under contract. Then once you get it, you have to find the developer and the buyer. So you need to really know what you're doing. I think that wholesale is marketed as easier. It is not easier. It is a different discipline. It is less capital intensive, right? So it requires less money to get into, because starting a marketing campaign, especially if you have a virtual assistant, which we'll talk about as we get into this, you can just get, have a list of motivated sellers built, pay a virtual assistant to cold call that list, screen that list. You can set up a motivated seller campaign on social media, these different ads that'll float around. And I help, our VIP people to do this. So if you're in the VIP program and you want to do this, we can help you to get ads set up online. Brian buys houses, cash as is. And then you can take that lead flow, plug it into a virtual assistant, which we can also help you with, and then have them call those leads and get you truly dialed in, and then just pass you people who are motivated to sell. And now all you got to do is talk to them, go see the property, get it under contract. So neither one is, I say if either one is guaranteed to get you money on a guaranteed basis, more of a guaranteed basis. Real estate has risk. Nothing's guaranteed in real estate, but the numbers typically don't lie, especially on a burst strategy deal and a rental. If you're being conservative with your comps, I would say that is more of a straight line, whereas the wholesaling you can do, but you need to build up your skill sets. It's really important if you want to wholesale correctly to get mentorship. It's really important for all of this stuff to get mentorship. So I would say the way to get to the money faster is with mentorship, because you're going to get pointed in a straight line. Either strategy can get you to money within 30 to 90 days. It just depends on where you're starting at, how much credit you have, how much capital you have. If you're starting out with little to no cash and bad credit, then you definitely want to get into creative financing, wholesaling, and some of those strategies. If you have capital and decent credit, you may want to get straight into the burst strategy, maybe doing a small flip and learning the construction game. And don't put a lot of pressure on your first deal, guys. Your first deal in some ways is there to just teach you. Even if you break even on your first deal, you now have systems, resources, teams that you can leverage into multiple deals, and you will make money. So even if you lost 10, 20 grand on your first deal, you can make that back tenfold in the game. You could go out and do one deal, make 100K on one deal very quickly. So you can cover losses if you stick with the game. And that's having that long-term focus within this game. Um, the cook Anderson said, "I got my." It's funny because your name's the cook. Got my knife and fork ready because you're feeding us out here. Oh, this is Tommy. What's up, Tom? Get on board if you want true knowledge. Definitely. Tommy tapped into the mentorship program. Actually, we did a phone call when I was out in Portugal. I think it was like 2 a.m. He was like, "Can you talk?" And I was like, "Let's do it," because I'm just all real estate all the time. And Tommy tapped in. He's about to get one of those out of town deals. So he's tapping into a Cleveland deal. We're connecting him with the lenders necessary, and he's investing out of town where the money goes further. So he's a living testament. And I believe you joined in like July. July, August, already got a deal under contract to close. So this stuff can happen quickly, guys. We still have about 90 days left this year. So you can still get a deal this year and get this stuff done, but you have to get pointed in the right direction. If you go out and try to figure this stuff out, you may figure it out, or you may just get burned for 50 grand like I did. And then hopefully you can survive getting burned from a contractor for 50 grand and try to keep running. But most people, just can't. This question: what roles do you have your VAs play? Property management, deal finder, cold calls, different VA for every role. We're definitely going to get into that. Let's get into some of the nitty gritty here. So, when to hire your first VA? When do you go and get your first virtual assistant? This is a question that even I had when I was first starting off and getting VAs. Like, how do I know when I need a VA? Because a lot of us, I'll get back into this, but he said, yeah, we just signed the contract today. Blessings. Yep. End of July, looking for another deal right now. So within that 90-day, period that we talk about, tapped in the end of July, August, September, October, hasn't even been 90 days, first deal. That's like a 60-day run to the first deal. So guys, you can make this happen. You can make this happen. You can make this happen for sure. So I had this question, like, when should I tap in? Like, how do I know when to get the VA? And for a lot of us, we don't want to spend the money on a virtual assistant. When we're first getting started in real estate, we're still in that like penny pinch mode. Like, we're afraid to make that spend, that investment. A lot of us don't sign up for mentorship because we're afraid to invest in our education. We don't want to put out, the capital into the real estate because we don't trust the game yet. Once you trust the real estate game, you understand that you can make so much more money off of the knowledge that you gain from real estate or off of a virtual assistant who can add leverage to your business. They can easily outproduce themselves in real estate, especially for what you will pay a virtual assistant, which is the next thing we'll get into, which is how much do VAs cost. But for the cost, and I'll get into the cost, they can far outproduce their cost. So the time to hire a virtual assistant is before you think you need it. That is your answer. When do I get my first VA? Before you think you need it. I got this advice from a mentor when I was heavy in sales and doing cold calling myself. Said, Brian, you know what you need. I know you're good on the phone. And because you're good on the phone, it's time to train somebody and get off that phone and get in front of prospects and spend your time where you can make the most money. As a real estate investor, what I found for myself is I can make the most money by only dealing with acquisitions, essentially. Having good contractors and systems to run project management, but focusing heavily on purchasing the right properties. If you buy the right properties, you will make a lot of money in real estate. So for me, everything else became a distraction. Going out and coordinating with inspectors or some of these different things, coordinating with lenders, dealing with title companies, dealing with sourcing materials for the job, dealing with some of the contractor phone calls. Even though I do a lot of that in the Boots on the Ground program, I really have come to enjoy the construction process over the course of time, but still the money is made in acquisitions. If you purchase properties well, you're going to make money long term. So then you start to hire VAs Once you know that, you should hire them before you think you need them. You then just go out and hire somebody. And the first thing that you're going to look at is, well, what don't I like to do? What am I not only not good at necessarily, because you want to make sure you're doing the right training. And I'll talk about training as we get later into this, but where do I make the most money, or where do I think I make the most money? So you start to pass tasks off to the VA, the first VA that you get, that distract you from being in your money position and your, what I would call your power position. Your power position is where you're the most profitable for the company. So you do that first, hire them quickly. And we'll talk about how much they cost. Define virtual assistant in the real estate realm. So the virtual assistants in the real estate realm, they don't really, outside of a cold caller, like you could always hire a cold caller, right? And then give them a script and then say, call these motivated sellers and say this, and they can deliver a script. But in terms of a true real estate virtual assistant, they almost don't exist. They have to be trained. And I'm currently setting up something for our VIP mentorship members, where I'm going to be opening up access to virtual assistants that I personally trained to do deal analytics. So to, let's say somebody wanted to invest in Texas. You guys know, or should know, the Boots on the Ground program where we build the houses for you. It's in Philly. So if you wanted to invest in Texas, we're not going to do boots on the ground for you in Texas. Like, we're not going to do that necessarily. But if you still needed virtual assistants to maybe call, screen deals, put together rehab budgets, do deal analysis, and do a lot of the legwork so that while you're at the 9 to 5, you can still get yourself in front of deals and outcompete the market, because speed, getting to the deals quickly, is what's going to separate you. That's something that I'm training people into. And that's something that people have to be trained to do. The only way to truly learn deal analysis and analytics at a high level is to learn it from another developer, somebody who's actively out there doing it. So you have to learn at that level. So that's something that I'm training, but that's what I would define a true like virtual assistant in the real estate realm as, is somebody who can analyze deals and essentially imagine them as like a bird, what I would call like a bird dog. Like, you can just say, hey, I want to see the highest cash flowing deals in Houston. Do the market research, set up some deal alerts, connect with wholesalers, and screen through deals, put together rehab budgets on what you're seeing on the market, and show me the money. Somebody who can, like a Jerry Maguire, like somebody who could show you the money. That would be a real estate deal analyst to me, because now I can sit back in my power position and say, bring me the best deals, and they can go do the analytics to show me the best information on what the best deals are on the market. Then I can take my knowledge and look at the analysis and say, this is a good deal. Let's get out offers. And then they can go coordinate getting out offers on those deals. So if I'm doing that, now I could be working a 9 to 5. I could have 10 minutes a day to invest in real estate, but in that 10 minutes, I'm more powerful than the average real estate investor is, even if they were full-time with no systems, or certainly if they were working a 9 to 5 but could only get out to look at properties on the weekend, which is most people, by the way. That's most people. 99% of mom and pop. So getting one virtual assistant that is trained to do real estate deal analysis and go out and find you deals could be worth their weight in gold. One deal, you can make 40, 50 grand. And the virtual assistant, as I said, we were getting to some of the costs. You know, a VA, they could cost you different ranges. So now that we're kind of getting into some of this stuff, like the cost can fluctuate between a VA. You will see some stuff where, and there are VAs out there for, you know, $3 an hour to $6. I would say $3 to $6 an hour. That's just like a plain, what I would call like plain vanilla VA, who can be trained to cold call or do some different things. But that's, there may be some limitations there. You may have to do what I would call extreme training and a lot of training for like 3 months to get them up to a caliber where they can run solo. So a lot of your $3 to $6 VAs can't really run solo unless they have somebody over them or they're plugged into a system. They could run solo if they're within a company. Like if I brought them into my company and trained them, they could get to that level because I can have multiple layers of training, me and different other virtual assistants who are tapped in and who are at a higher caliber who can train them. Now you then have, based on your location, how much a VA will cost. So a virtual assistant in one country, and you're thinking outside of the country for sure. You're thinking South America. You're thinking the Philippines, India, parts of Africa are popping up with a lot of virtual assistants as well that are quality. The cost can range. You can have, and I have some virtual assistants that are getting paid, substantially more than that, or are on some type of sales and bonus compensation. So it's all about quality. You could have some VAs who make more than people in the US, but not relative to the role that they're serving. So say you have a virtual assistant and they might be like a certified financial analyst in Mexico City. They might be making $3,000 a month US, which that conversion rate, when you take it back to pesos, is, it's crazy. It's a lot of money. But somebody who's a CFA in the US might be making $15,000 a month US. So it's all relative. So that VA, even at $3,000 a month, is a high value to you because they can produce what a CFA can produce in the US at $15,000. So there's always some type of trade-off there. But you have everything from your $3 to $6 an hour VAs in terms of cost to your $1,000, $2,000, $1,500, $1,200 a month. You have a lot of different ranges, and it really is based upon the talent pool and what you're looking to do there. Ace Deuce said, what are some of the best ways to utilize your VAs? Depends on your operation. If you're a wholesaler, it's definitely going to be something around screening, list building, cold calling, and sifting through motivated sellers. If you're a developer, it's going to be management related, tracking and management. What if they could track your whole rehab? What if they could coordinate with the contractor to get update videos every day of your project? What if they could do that? What if they could handle billing? What if they could order materials from Home Depot and get them delivered to your job site? All of these different things, anything that distracts you from making the money. Because if you think about where the money's being made, is the money being made from you sourcing materials from Home Depot? Not really. Not really. The money's being made by going out and putting that deal under contract for $20,000 below asking price so fast that the competition couldn't get to it. And now you're able to make more money off of the deal. So you just have to put them in a position that is a distraction to you and where they can outproduce themselves and have the most value. But you're in a masterclass. So if this is something that you're looking for, just reach out. We'll talk about it. We'll talk about it one-on-one and how you can scale. For anybody who's wondering that, like if you're in a mentorship program, if you're not, you should tap in. This is just another value add that we're adding to the mentorship program for our people. I'm always thinking about you guys and trying to add more value. But yeah, that is a way where if we're talking one-on-one on a Zoom call like we do when you're in the VIP program, I can analyze your business, kind of where you're at, and then tell you where to insert a VA, why to insert a VA, and what type of VA you need to be successful. So yeah, I'm definitely interested. Yeah, we'll just connect. But yeah, that will be easy for me to do because, like I said, I've run with as many as like 40 VAs, at a given time, and the leverage is insane. So people are like, man, this guy Brian, he's like Superman. He's doing so much activity. It's not just me, guys. It's the team, and I'm not shy to tell that. It's like I could beat Michael Jordan 50 against 1. Like how good do I need to be? Not that good. I need to be better at creating systems, which you guys know I'm good at. Creating systems that don't break at scale, having market knowledge where you can train, and then being able to manage talent, recruit and manage talent, and that's the job of a startup CEO. That is your number one job, guys. If you're getting value from this, like, comment, subscribe, share this with somebody who you think will get value as well, and drop any questions you have in the chat. in the comment section, and we'll answer them as we keep flowing. So the next question I get is, how do you find the VAs? There's a couple ways that you can find a virtual assistant. One is, I mean, look, there are some people sitting on the couch right here in the U.S. that, for extra $50 a day or something like that, which ain't much, they just want to work from home, and they'll make calls and do different things. So you can screen that. I would say maybe closer to like $100 a day. It's probably, I just got a funny text. Probably $100 a day is more appropriate. You can also hire headhunters. So there are headhunters in places like India, the Philippines. You can go on LinkedIn, and you can find these different headhunters out there, and they essentially will represent a pool of virtual assistants. So they will have access to different VAs, and they're tapped in locally. A lot of these people used to work at different job agencies where they did job placement, so they just know a bunch of people. And the headhunters are really cool because they have access to what I would qualify as like the best talent. So if you wanted to bring a CFA, a financial analyst, somebody to come in and really crank numbers, or you wanted to bring in somebody who can do website design or just any of these things, depending on what you're trying to do in real estate, or somebody who can come in and just manage your contractors, manage a rehab project, track all the numbers and the data and source the materials, which there's a lot, to doing that and managing that and tracking all those numbers. You can go to a headhunter and they will find that person and then place them. But it's very important when you go that route that you have your game type, that you are, Charity says she's a VA as well. So there are people in the US that are VAs. It's very important that you have your game tight and that you have your mission statement down, that you are welcoming somebody into your company. A virtual assistant does not want to feel like they're just joining up some hack shop where there's no real long-term opportunity. So you should bring somebody in before you think you need them to challenge yourself. But also know that the more talented the person, the more of an operation they're looking to step into. They want to feel like they're, part of something that can scale. Everything in real estate is about scale. Getting a VA is about scaling to the next level. But also part of that scale is being able to show that next level person that, you can scale this operation. It'll be more profitable for them long-term to be a part of what you have going on. So you can find them all over the place. You can also, if you're in a mentorship program, you can just come to me because I have, access and a pipeline of VAs that I'm training up for you guys. So you can always just come to me if you want specifically a real estate virtual assistant, which you really can't find anywhere outside of kind of like this program. This is where you're going to find that. So I will be training those VAs for you guys. And if you want in, just reach out. But we'll get you laced up with some leverage. How to train VAs. You have to, in order to train properly, you need to know what you're talking about. You need to know what you're doing. You need to have some experience. I have had people come into the mentorship program, take my advice, get some virtual assistants. And the best recommendation is just put them in the program, tap them into the mentorship program. So pull out some sections of the course. Like if you want them to do property management, property maintenance requests and kind of answer the phone, then pull them out and tap them in directly to your program. So, or into my program. So they can watch the 100 Keys Masterclass and get trained up. So they'll take all the knowledge in and be like, all right, cool. And you'll see within a week or two of them just tapping into the masterclass course content, they will become virtual assistants within whatever sector they need to be. Because you're paying them to do this, like a lot of people get into any mentorship program, they'll go through the course content, but you're busy, you're distracted, your kids are hanging off of you. When you have a virtual assistant, you're paying them for the training. They're really locked in. So they're learning all the content a mile deep, and that is going to accelerate them. Also, just having them pre-trained. There are different virtual assistant companies that will pre-train some of these people for like cold calling and deal sourcing and some of these different things as well. So you want to do a lot of the training yourself. I always say, do it yourself. Do a couple cold calls yourself. Develop a script. Do all of this work yourself. Try to put a deal under contract. Go through the steps well enough to learn what the bottlenecks are, and then you can train somebody through that process, how to get around the bottlenecks. There's also things for virtual assistants, like in terms of how to use them or train them. There is just on-site training, on-the-job training. So I will have VAs do things like, look, I'm not going to sit on the phone with like license and inspection. I'm not going to call and sit on that number, listen to that song for 30 minutes and waste my time. So I may have the VA make those calls and then go through the prompts and just figure it out on the fly. Figure out who you got to get in front of. You got to get in front of the right department. Keep going through the prompts, and they'll kind of figure out things on the fly. But that can also be a very good use of value for the virtual assistant, because this is now preventing you from having to be sitting on those phone calls for 2 hours, just wasting time, burning yourself out, when you could be out finding more deals or doing things that are a little bit more profitable. Twan said, "How do I join?" If you want to learn more about the VIP mentorship program, click the links in the description. You can tap into my free real estate training, and then there will be a button to like book a call. You can book a call. We can talk one-on-one about the mentorship program, how to get you started if it's something that you're interested in doing. So just tap into the links in the description. Hey, if I use the 100 Keys Masterclass to train a VA, how many hours a day should I have them tap into the course? I would just plug them into like sections of the course. So just like I do for some of you guys, like if you come to me and say, Brian, I want to get into creative financing, I'm going to pull specific sections out of the course content to tap you into so that you can accelerate faster. Then I'll double you back through the majority of the course content so that you can become more well-rounded. That's the same approach you would take with a virtual assistant. You would want to tap them in, like if it's property management, then tap them into the property management sections of the course so that they can get the most value, get up to speed, give you value first. Then you can double them back through some of the content. Guy Green said, "Did you get my message about using my bank account?" No, I did not get that message. I'm not sure how it was sent. There's another question. How do you make sure these VAs deliver and perform and not just waste of time? Something called KPIs, key performance indicators. So you have to track the performance indicators of the virtual assistant. So one, you have to think about what tracks performance. So let's say I had a virtual assistant and their job was leasing up a property. So their job is to tenant a property. I need to lay out performance indicators. How many leads are you generating for the rental property listings? How many appointments, how many phone calls are you making to schedule appointments? How many appointments are scheduled? How many people are showing up to those appointments? How many people are converting into tenants from those appointments? What type of follow-up do you have? How many texts are you sending? How many calls are you making on a daily basis? How often do you follow up? How do you track it? How are you spreadsheeting it? What software are you using? So having key performance indicators is going to tell the story. And when you boil down, so first you start tracking this stuff to see, okay, they did 100 leads. That was 10 scheduled appointments. 5 people, or let's say 3 people showed up. That's a red flag. Why did we schedule 10 and 3 showed up? All right, what are you doing to confirm the appointments the day of the appointment? I wasn't doing anything. Okay, we got to correct that. So then you start tweaking them there. Then you tweak that. Now the people who are showing up to the appointments is like 7 out of 10. That's more of like an industry standard. So it's like, all right, cool. How many are converting? What are you doing to follow up and chase the people down after they view the property? So you start to set up these indicators and you'll get a percentage. For every 100 leads, we get 3 tenants. And then once you have that, the key performance indicators tell the story of the production. If you know 100 leads are coming in and you can go line by line, that should lead to 10 scheduled appointments, and it's not, then your issue is with them chasing down those leads and converting. They may not be getting to them fast enough. They may be bad on the phone. They may not have the right script or not good at the script. So you have to start tweaking through the phone. So you start tweaking them through that funnel. And as you keep tweaking, you're going to get to the desired goal. Or you will discover that they're not talented enough, and then you have to get another VA and train them. But the work you did with the original VA and setting up the systems and screening and kind of all of these different key performance indicators, it's going to make it easier for you to hire, train, and insert a new virtual assistant into the system. So your first hire, if you have nothing else for them to do, you can have them create tracking systems and different systems for a scale up. As you have multiple virtual assistants, now they can kind of scale their way into those systems. But that's what you need to do. A lot of people will hire a VA, but not have a way to really track them, not know what the key performance indicators are for the role, and therefore you can't properly push somebody to where you want them to be. So that's that is part of it. This is a question. Why would a VA remain an assistant after watching your programs? Well, one, they're in a different country. It's not that easy to just tap into U.S. real estate from the Philippines, right? I think there's mindset shifts. Like, you have to get into the mindset of a virtual assistant to a degree. Like, they're trying to make money. It's the same reason. Why would you work a 9 to 5 when you know what your company does? Like, if you know your company, let's say you work at like a car manufacturer, you know they build cars. You know there's a process for building cars, an assembly line system. You know there's buyers of cars. You know what types of cars get purchased typically. Why don't you just go out and start building cars? Because you want to make a paycheck, and you're not necessarily an entrepreneur. Not everybody is trying to go out and do that at that level. So it's like, why does anybody work a 9 to 5 anywhere versus look at what their boss did or is doing and then try to replicate it, because it costs money to replicate. And, that's just not the stage of life that they're in right now. So your virtual assistant is certainly not going to learn about, they're not learning at that level, because that's not how they make money, right? They don't make money when you make money. They make money to perform a task. And there's a difference in that attitude, that mentality. So there's just a difference there. There's really just a fundamental difference is what you'll find. But it's like, why would anybody work for anybody versus try to do it themselves? Because there's a lot of risk involved in doing it yourself. And then you have to have everything set up. Everything set up. So they're just learning this stuff on the fly. It's highly unlikely that they're going to go out and do it. But also they have to learn it at a high level to be successful. So like just them getting the course content, this is why we have the one-on-one VIP mentorship program. The course content is strong. And the course content, if you learn like I learned, the course content would be enough for you to go out and just do 100 deals. But most people don't learn like I learned, or at the capacity. Not like I'm trying to say like I'm some supercomputer or something, but just in working with a lot of people need more of that one-on-one approach. Need like essentially a real estate tutor, essentially somebody who's going to sit with you one-on-one, do private Zoom calls and sessions and answer your questions and really guide you through the process. Nobody's doing that for your VA. So they would essentially have to come in from way out of the country with no capital and try to pick up everything from a course that's in a secondary language. So a lot of this is going over their head because this is in a secondary language, and then try to outcompete you. That's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. And they would have to learn every facet of the business, not just what they're doing. So I wouldn't worry too much about that, realistically. Well, it's a good question. What else do we need? How many virtual assistants? I'll get this question sometimes. How many VAs is too much? Like too many VAs? I think it's just a matter of you want to essentially build your virtual assistants up to a level where they're almost approaching burnout or can't deliver on your KPIs. And that will tell you we need some more people in here. So you want to max them out. You want to do like an ebb and flow of building systems, pushing them to reach certain efficiency levels, then add more volume in. So it's like, oh, you can sift through 100 leads a day. All right, let's do 200. Then try to create more efficiency so that they can properly sift through 200 by themselves. Then try to do 300. And you're going to find that breaking point. It's like, well, they can't do 300, even with the systems, the efficiency, the follow-up, the automations, they just can't do it. Now you need to bring in an assistant, another VA. But that's a VA you can now put under your main VA. So now they have somebody that they can train, and they're doing the same thing. Everybody essentially is delegating work. So now your original VA is saying, what are the tasks that are a distraction to me hitting the KPIs that are the most important to the owner? And then they start passing those tasks down to the new VA and training them in those so that they can become more efficient at hitting the high level KPIs. And it just goes on and on and on in every sector of the company until you look up and you might have 5 or 6 VAs and they're essentially doing almost everything. And the information is just feeding up to you so that you can handle escalations and different issues that they can't solve. But even when you're handling that, it's only so that in the future they can handle it. They can deal with it. So that's what you want to do with your VAs. That's how you want to scale them. And hopefully this helps you guys. If you guys have more questions, just drop them in the chat section. But I wanted this to be a quicker session that can give you guys value on virtual assistants. Certainly, once again, if you're looking for VAs, make sure you kind of reach out and you'll get them. There is one thing I wanted to touch on for our Boots on the Ground members. The Boots on the Ground program, if anybody's here and doesn't know what the Boots on the Ground program is where we find the deals for you in Philly. So we have a lot of people investing from out of town, people from California, people from Canada, people from down south, some people from New York who are tapping into the Philly real estate. We'll find the deals for you, screen through them, inspect them, put together detailed deal analysis reports, connect you with the lenders, build them with in-house contractors, and tenant them, property manage them, or help you to flip them if that's what you're looking to do. We just got I won't call it a lucky break. It's just a break in the Philly market. Let me tap you guys into this. This is let me open this up on another page. This is a Section 8 rent standard. And this is really important. This just came out, the new one came out today. This is huge news, by the way, if you're in the Boots on the Ground program. We have a lot of people in the Boots on the Ground program who are essentially just looking to do a burst strategy deal. They want to buy a property, renovate it, and then refinance their money out of it and collect rental income. And everybody knows rates have been up. Like rates went up this year and they've been up. They will tick back down at some point, but they're up. And there's all of these talking heads. Oh, the burst strategy's dead. There's no way to make cash flow. Oh, real estate is over. This is the end. You guys know I never believe these things. I don't listen to naysayers because I've been around and I know the market reacts to these things. Even though some people believe the market won't react or the whole real estate market is going to collapse, it's not. Inflation impacts rents. Rents go up over the course of time to offset debts. So if mortgage rates go up and they stay higher, landlords are going to increase rents. But what happened recently is actually very interesting. Very intriguing, I'll say, is Section 8 has increased their rents in Philly exponentially. So this is a payment standard for Section 8 rents according to the bedroom size. So this is a 1-bedroom. These are the zip codes, so the different groups and where they pay. This is what Section 8 pays, but it gives you an indication of the types of rents that you could receive in these zip codes in Philly. These are all Philly zip codes. So for our Boots on the Ground people, pay very close attention. If you wanted to get into the Boots on the Ground program, but you've been sitting on the sidelines, but you wanted to make some rental income, this would be a great time to get your tail into the Boots on the Ground program. One, I'm probably gonna shut down access to new applicants in the Boots on the Ground program as we get closer to year end. We may close the door. We probably should close the door at the end of this month because we had a bunch of people tap in. And especially now that this is out, I want to really just lock in and see how people want to utilize this hack, because this is unlocking the door for massive cash flow. But you can see in a basic zip code, group 1 is the lowest rents, group 2 is higher, and so on. For a 3-bed, which is your average property, they were paying $13.75 a month. That was the October 1, 2022 payment standard. Well, the October 1, 2023 payment standard that just came out over the weekend, let me zoom this in. For that same 3-bed, they're now paying $17.88. I believe that's a $400 spread. on your 3 bedroom, a $400 spread in the worst zip code. Most of our people are investing in the group 2 and beyond zip codes. A 3-bed in group 2. This is the zip code. Maybe some of my family's watching this that I grew up in. These rents were at like $1,300. They're paying almost $2,200 a month for a 3-bed in the zip code now. The amount of arbitrage opportunities that are opening up from this to just buy a deal, do a BRRRR strategy, and Section 8 the property. The cash flow that, by the way, like this number was that number was 1470 in the group 2. 1470 is now 2136. That's a $700 spread that goes straight into your pocket, by the way. So all of the naysayers saying, oh, the cash flow is going. Well, the cash flow is back. If you're buying in the right zip codes, doing the arbitrage. We have one of our boots on the ground guys, a couple of them actually, have deals in his 19146 zip code. The 3-bed went from 2,400 to 3,100, 3,400 a month. So another $1,000 spread, essentially. And this is why you have to stay in the real estate game. The real estate game rewards the people who love it. The people who love it don't leave it. Don't complain about it when it hits a rough patch or when the market's shaking out or doing something. When you love the game and you're just in it, you understand, because this is things like this have happened before, and they happen all the time. You're in the game, there's doom and gloom, people are saying all this stuff, and then boom, you wake up October 1st and rents are up $400 to $1,000 a month per property. And all of that money is just direct cash flow right into your pocket. So a property that, based on our deal analysis, was cash flowing $200 a month. Listen up, Boots on the Ground members. A deal that I sent you a deal report on that was cash flowing, projected to cash flow $300 a month, will now cash flow $700 a month, which makes it a tremendously different deal. A deal that was cash flowing $500 a month might be cash flowing $1,000 a month. Some of these properties are cash flowing more than co-living. We might be back in the glory days. I haven't been this excited about Philly real estate in maybe 3 years. And I've been pretty excited about it. I'm always usually excited about it. But there are levels to my excitement. I'm an old dog in this game. So Shallon said, who's tapping in, said, wow, that matrix is looking great. That matrix is looking phenomenal. But as an old dog in the game, it's hard to get me amped up. But these types of numbers get you back into the cash flowing days of like 2011. Like, because the inflation of the rent is just so far outpacing even interest rates right now. Especially how you have to keep it in mind is these properties will cash flow $1,700 a month, or they'll bring in $1,700 a month in rent. You might buy it for $65,000, put in $40,000, be in it at 105, and the mortgage is like $800 a month, and the rent coming in is $1,700 a month. That's like $800 a month in cash flow on a deal you can do in 30 days. And there's a bunch of them out there. And most people aren't even thinking like this. If they're not on this live or watching this, they may not even know, and don't have the resources and the strategy and the team to exploit this type of opportunity. So Philly is a gold mine right now. It's a gold mine. I can't express to you. And I have some people who are, hey, I'm thinking about the Boots on the Ground program, and I'm just like, all right, well, you keep thinking, because we're about to lace up everybody in the Boots on the Ground program with some of these cash flowing deals. And these deals are just gonna, I mean, it's ridiculous. I just did a Section 8 property for a buddy of mine from Colorado. We just put the tenant in, and Section 8 is paying 100% of the rent. So not only can you get this cash flow, but there are going to be instances where Section 8 is paying 100% of the rent. So all that cash flow coming in, you're getting $900 a month in cash flow after all expenses. And Section 8 is paying 100% of the rent. You're not even dealing with the tenant. But this is why you had to stay in the game. This is why I tell you guys, I'll send a list out. If anybody wants to list, I'll put a link to the list in the description of this video. Share this if you think somebody will get a value from understanding what we're talking about right in this second. This type of list, the Section 8 spreads widening, because it's not just going to happen in Philly, guys. It's going to happen in Baltimore. It's going to happen in Cleveland. It's going to happen everywhere, and it's probably already happening right now. You guys got to get tapped in, man. You guys got to get tapped in. Like, I'm even talking about it right now because I just got hit over the head with this today. So I haven't even had time to really digest this information. But talking about it now with you guys, this is the most time I spent on it today because I've been dealing with so many things. What an exciting opportunity. I can't express to you guys what this level of arbitrage means. I really can't. Because we have, especially in Philly, where we have the contractors, we have the lenders, we have the architects, we have the engineers, we have all the resources together. I can't express to you what type of opportunity this is to cash flow. This is, actually I can. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. And to think that not only could you cash flow, because I'm getting into it now, 800, 900 a month or 1,000 a month now, but as rates go down, you could hit a refinance button and unlock even more cash flow in a lower rate with a refi. So you could go from 1,000 a month to a refi. Now you're at 1,400 a month. Isn't that silly? This is why the game is crazy to me. This is why I never knock the game and I don't listen to naysayers because they don't know what they're talking about. Because as a side, imagine you sitting on the sideline right now. You sitting there on the sideline. I'm waiting out the market. Now this just happened. Now, instead of getting into the mentorship program 3 months ago when I told you, learn the real estate, the opportunities will be here, everything's coming. You don't know anything. You don't have your systems together. You don't have your game together. You haven't talked to lenders. You're not ready. And people who are ready right now are out exploiting these opportunities right now. Right now. I had a property for one of our tenants. One of our boots on the ground clients. I was going to tenant the one bed for $1,200 a month. The rent on the one bed is in his zip code is $1,700 a month. $1,700 a month. We were going to put somebody in for 12. So we just got an extra $500 a month just off of the strength of the game. The game rewards those who play. The game will reward you for learning it, for staying dedicated to the real estate game. This is affordable housing you're creating and making this type of cash flow as well. So this stuff is extremely exciting to me. I will post a link. Dame said, do you train your VAs to find subject to deals? Definitely. I will post a link to that list in the description of this video. So make sure you share the video. Anybody you think will get value from that. If you've been on the hook about the Boots on the Ground program, you better wake up. That's all I'm gonna tell you. But I know a lot of people now in that Boots on the Ground program will be like, hey, even some people who came in, got a deal, been sitting on the sidelines. I know some people are gonna be like, hey, BG, can I jump back in the Boots on the Ground when they see this? If they see this video and when they understand what the rents are doing right now, because this is a once in a lifetime opportunity to get in on this level of inflation and tap into these deals. Section 8 ain't playing. They're trying to outcompete the market, and they're going to with these rents. This is crazy. This is bringing Section 8 arbitrage back. I'm telling you, things haven't been like this for a decade. Things haven't been like this since I was a pup in this game. I had somebody just tap into the mentorship program from Philly today, young guy from Philly. And I'm like, we got a one-on-one Zoom call tomorrow. And when he tapped in, we were talking about Section 8 arbitrage, and I hadn't even seen this. And I was telling him where he could do the arbitrage and stuff. But now the conversation is so much different. It's like, man, we're sitting on it's a blue ocean, bro. Like, there's just so much value out here. It's crazy. The Cook Anderson said, I need some of that Philly market. You definitely need to tap in. The Boots on the Ground may be next. Definitely tap in, guys. So, guys, hope this helped. Sorry to go on this rant about Section 8, but very exciting stuff to have the government paying 100% of your rent and getting you this level of cash flow. It's unprecedented. So hopefully this session helped. Hopefully you got value. If you got value, like, comment, subscribe. Leave a comment that says I subscribe. Share the content with somebody else who you think will get value. Always pass value to the universe, and then we'll bring it back to you tenfold. And stay locked in. If you're thinking about boots on the ground, reach out, text me, email me. Get a part of this cash flow, because this, I mean, I would say it won't last, but we got at least a year to crank these rents, and these rents could go up again. So this is just showing you, this is a testament to the game that increasing rates do not kill real estate. Increasing rates is a part of inflation, and rents inflate as a part of inflation, and higher rents offset higher carrying costs. So there's still a profit spread. That's the game. That's what I've been telling you guys in various ways, which is just stick with it. And now it's always a good time to invest in real estate, and this is why. Sideline sitting doesn't get you anywhere, in my opinion. Doesn't get you anywhere. We'll wrap up with one last question, and then we'll call it. We've been running for about an hour. But if you guys have some more good questions, I'll keep flowing a little bit. What are your thoughts on multifamily and commercial real estate versus residential? Well, the profit spreads are higher residentially than they are commercially, typically. Commercially, you can actually use creative financing at a high level, in my opinion. You can use it at a very high level. So there are going to be instances where you can acquire commercial properties for very little out of pocket, but you do need more capital on hand for commercial deals, because a problem is now a $500,000 problem, $250,000 problem, $100,000 problem. Like your sewer line goes on a single family, it's a $5K problem. A lot of people have a heart palpitation. Oh my God, $5,000, that hit me. Now, if that happened on a commercial deal, a contractor's going to look you in your face and be like, so, yeah, we can get this done for about $150,000. And you're going to be like, so you have to understand that commercial is not always going to save you. There are different levels of commercial. There's office space, there's hotel, there's retail, and then there's commercial multifamily, like 50-unit buildings. What you'll find is, if I took your average, let's say a 30-unit building, and I stacked it up against 10 triplexes, the 10 triplexes will be far superior in value to the average 30-unit building. You can buy them cheaper, and they'll cash flow more. Okay? That's on average. Actually, that's beyond on average. That's 90% of the time. If I stack your average triplex against 3 well-priced single-family rental properties, the 3 well-priced single-family rental properties will typically outproduce the 1 triplex, because there's less competition the lower down to the ground you get. The reason why is, think about yourself as a $100 million fund. You are a $100 million fund, and you need to deploy $100 million in a year, which means you need to spend it. You need to get it. That $100 million is burning a hole in your bank account, because you're not getting any return on it, and you owe investors money on that $100 million. So you're in a race to get that $100 million into real estate, so that $100 million can start to produce profits to repay investors and make money off of itself. So where are you going to go with that $100 million? Are you going to go to single family residential or triplexes? How many triplexes would you have to buy? 100 of them, 200 of them, 300 of them? Or are you going to go to commercial buildings where you can buy them at 25 million for a building, and then you can go get 4 of them, and you can execute on that. So big money is looking at bigger properties. So you're now competing against bigger money who can outspend you, take a loss, and win 15 years from now. Whereas when you're dealing with the residential game, you are only competing against mom and pop. And with the knowledge that we give you in the course content, you can outproduce them tenfold. So that answers that question. Dame said, 3,100 for a 3-bedroom is crazy. I'm guessing if you have a triplex that each have 3 beds, then you're grossing 9,300 from the government. Boom. What happens if we fall into a recession? They're going to issue stimulus packages and fund the freaking government. They're going to fund Section 8. That's what they did last time. So all the people who are doing the regular market rentals are losing, hypothetically. But you doing the affordable housing Section 8 play are just getting the cash flow capital. So you win even bigger. Affordable housing, you don't lose in a recession because people downsize and they need more affordability. Man. But yeah, that it's crazy to look at. 3,100 for a 3-bed. There's some ground up deals. This is going to unlock. This is actually, now that I think about it, this is an unlocked opportunity to go and do ground up deals in very high value markets in Philly and build exactly what we're talking about. 4-bed, 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 3-bed, 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 triplex, and cash flow the heck out of it. This is just unlocked so much that I'm dead serious, guys. Like, I really need to digest this information. The way that my brain works, I need to sleep on this, and when I wake up, it'll be all organized. The plan, a lot of my plans, they'll organize themselves. Like, I don't try to like manually organize it. My brain will just digest the info. I'll wake up and it'll be like, here's an opportunity, here, here, here. These are the highest values, and then we'll just start running those plays. So this is definitely a game changer in a major way. It's shocking, but it's a pleasant shock for me because I am one of the few voices in this game who understands that while everybody's naysaying and doom and glooming, if you buy into that mentality, you just lose. You miss out on opportunity. But when you stay locked in, not on optimism, but on trust of the game, the opportunities just come straight to you, fall right in your lap. And you are in the game actively with your resources, and you can just capitalize while everybody else is sitting on the sidelines. That's why I've been telling you guys this winter is going to be an epic winter. This is part of it. This is now going to be one to remember. So, guys, hope this helps. If you want to get cash flow, you know how to reach me, tap in. If you're interested in the boots on the ground, you better get in because we do not have much capacity. I just had to hire somebody else for the boots on the ground program to add more capacity because we have, people in and we're hustling and humping to get everybody a deal so they can get a part of this cash flow. If you're new to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, share the content, please. Share the content, please, just to help other people. It's not like I can, trust me, I can hit a button and I can get this thing out, but you guys should share it for the people that you care about, that you want to do well. It's better that they get it from you, quite frankly. And just stay locked in. Tap into mentorship now. If you're in mentorship and you've been distracted, get refocused now. This is your wake-up call. Stop waiting for the naysayers to start talking positive. They ain't going to. By the time they start talking positive, I'll be talking negative, right? I'm always doing what they're not doing because they're always wrong. Not that I'm always right, but they're always wrong about that type of broad-based mass commentary. They are always wrong. So when I see what they're talking about, I'm like, oh, well, they're definitely wrong. Now let me go find what the right is through free thinking. So guys, hopefully that helped. I'm ready to get this thing cracking, man. I got to go jump into some deal analysis. I'm not going to sleep tonight. I need to see where this money is so that I can help you guys get tapped into it. If you need a virtual assistant, also reach out. But the VAs are reserved for people in the VIP mentorship program. I may allow some people, if you're in a group course and you're like, B, hold me down, reach out. But if you're in that VIP program and you need a VA and you're like, hey, that's going to allow me to 10X. I'm still working a 9 to 5 and I just need that. I just need that value. Tap in. But that's it, guys. Brian Grimes, your real estate mentor, signing off.